Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and this update for Pan Those palettes. I have 3 of them. One is a Pan That palette in order, one is a Pan That palette which I'm trying to use up, and then I have a palette in which I want to hit all the pans, and those are the palettes for the year. And so let's start with the Pan That palette in order. I'm just working on one shade at a time and then I move on to the next one once I've hit that pan. The palette is from ZC. It's the Mayan Goddess or the Solar Cycle palette. I was working on shade number 8 and I had a huge dip on it, as you can see here. But I was really not expecting to hit pan after only using it one more time. So this is how the palette looks like right now. So you can see the pan there, and I am so excited to be halfway there, you know. Panning shades and hitting pan are, you know, two different things. Hitting pan is so much easier than to finish a shade, but you know, I've hit pan on half of the shades. That is awesome. And so we are moving on to this shade right here, which is a peachy, really nice shade, I would say. And I have used this 9 times and hopefully you can see that dip forming. Can I hit pan on this until the next update? That would be awesome, but I'm not sure if I can. Who knows? But since I've actually used it 9 times and I am gravitating towards it because I like the shade, who knows? I mean, I do have a dip and I use pretty much of it when I use it. I use it as a crease shade and sometimes on my lower lash as well. So it might not take as much time as it takes to hit pan on other shades. So we'll see. But that one was very exciting for me. So let's move on to the Pan That palette of this year, which was also my Pan That palette last year. I am trying to finish this up. I only had 4 shades left at the beginning of this project, and I have finished one of them. So this is what it looks like right now. And this shade, Candy, is the one that I have finished, which was one of my goals. And I hope you can see the pan expansion in all of these 3 shades that I'm also working on. So even though I am trying to focus on Sky, I have used the other shades as well. Maybe you can see that I have actually hit side pan here, a pretty big one. So this will probably be the next shade to go. This shadow right here called Gaze, I've used 8 additional times in this project for a total of 11 times. Usually I use it on my lower lash line or in the inner corners. I am wearing it today with a little bit of other shades from another Pan That palette, which we will go through very soon. But yeah, I have used this one 8 times, which is not too bad for a shade that I'm not actually, you know, focusing on this month. Especially considering that this shade, which was my focus shade, Sky, the silvery one here, you all know how much I love that one. I've used this one 8 times as well. So my focus shade has the same amount of use as, you know, this one. But I have used Sky 20 times this year. So 8 additional times this month, which isn't too shabby. Silver is not something I go with every single day. I love silvers, but you know, it kind of stands out. I am wearing it today together with some blues and you know, some other shades. So yeah, I think you can see a pretty good pan expansion there. I hope so, at least. I haven't seen the pictures myself yet. And then the last shade right here called Sweet, I have used 6 additional times for a total of 11 uses. And I really hope you can see some kind of pan expansion there as well. This is getting really crumbly, so whenever it crumbles up, I don't care about it anymore. I'm not trying to kind of repress it or anything because it's hard to work with and it's just going to crumble up again. So I'm using this mostly on my lower lash line. Maybe I've used it in 1 or 2 looks this month where I've actually used it in the, you know, on the lid. Let's see. So that's where we're at with this one. I am getting closer. I really hope I can finish it this year. You know, if I had this progress every single month, of course I would be able to. But, you know, winter is over, kind of, at least here. And so I don't know how much I want to use this anymore. We'll see, but I really hope I can finish this palette until the end of the year. Now let's talk about the hardest palette, which is my Haze Reindeer palette. I'm trying to hit pan in all of the shades, and I gotta say the mattes are so hard pressed. So we'll see if I can do that until the end of the year. I really hope so. If I can hit all of the pans, I will roll in another palette, but I'm not sure I can do that. However, we have quite a few new pans this month. So this is how the palette is looking. I don't know if you can see that, but we have 3 new pans. One of them I hit today. So this one we had a little bit of a pan showing in the beginning of the year already, and I just expanded that a little bit. But this month I've hit pan on this shade, and this shade. So 3 shimmers. The shimmers are really easy to hit pan on, but I was not expecting to hit 3 pans. I was expecting and working to hit 1 pan, and that was this one, the shade Wrath. And yeah, I already had quite a good dip on that one in the last update, but I wasn't sure I was going to hit this pan, and I sure wasn't sure that I would hit this pan. I actually hit this one today by using it on my lower lash line, and I've never done that before. You know, it's a baby pan. I hope you can see that. It's so small. Maybe I'll use it again, but this was a shade that I really disliked in the beginning. When I used it the first time, I was like, what kind of shade is this? It's like a pink with golds in it, and it doesn't go together with anything. I tried it together with, I think, this Reindeer shade. I tried it with Fireplace down here because I thought, well, this is kind of peachy, so maybe these two will go together. I tried it with a brown. It didn't work that well. I did use it together with a peachy shade from my ZZ palette, and it worked so much better, and that's how I've been using it for like 2 or 3 uses maybe. But before discovering that, I was, you know, trying to mix and match different shades, and it just didn't work. It was so ugly. I hated this shade, and trying to find the perfect peach shade to pair it with, it wasn't the easiest, but I found a way. I found some peaches, like I said, in this one. These two went really well together. And so today, for the first time, I used it on my lower lash line, and I think it worked out pretty great, actually, so I'm very happy for that. Let's go through the usage now when I've just, you know, celebrated the pans. The first shade, Reindeer, I am wearing today. I am trying to kind of focus my brush right up here in the corner. I'm wearing it on my waterline, lower lash line, and it doesn't work that great, so I had to use a lot, which is why I can see a little bit of a dip forming, which is nice for me, but you know, it didn't really work the way I hoped it would. So I have used this one twice more for a total of 6 times in this project. Slay I've used once for a total of 4 times. Greetings I've used 8 additional times, or 9 additional times for a total of 12 times in this project. Eggnog I've used once for a total of 2 times. Christmas ham I haven't used at all this month since I already had pan, and I expanded that to do like a no pan left behind for the year on this palette. So I have used it once in total, but not this month. Cider I've used 5 times for a total of 8 uses. Ref I only needed to use 2 more times to hit pan after having used it 6 times in this project. Holly I've used 4 more times for a total of 12 uses. Mistletoe I've used twice more for a total of 3 times. Candy canes I used 4 more times to hit pan after 8 uses. Ivy I've used 12 times this month for a total of 15 uses. As you probably can see, I've used a very angled brush in this because I've used it in my brows together with a very warm toned brown. And both a warm toned brown and a blue like this is very hard for me to use usually. So using them together to make a cool tone brown for my eyebrows is the best way to go. I think that's the only way I can hit pan on this because these are so hard pressed, as I told you before. So I've used that one 15 times in total. Then we come to this gold shade. This is called Christmas Stocking. I've used it twice for a total of 3 times in this project. Bells I've used 5 times this month for a total of 7 uses. And I think this will be my next pan in this palette. Then we have Fireplace, which I've used 3 times for a total of 5 uses. We have Presents, which I only needed to use 2 more times for a total of 4 uses to hit pan on. Like I said, you can hit pan pretty quickly in the shimmers, depending on what looks you go for and if you use your finger and stuff like that. Some girl commented in her own video that people are really saying different things about Odin's eye, about, you know, hitting pan and how long that will take. And I would say it really depends on how you use the shades. So everyone can kind of agree that the mattes are hard pressed. They're hard pressed, they will take a lot of time however you use them. But if you use a precise brush, an angle brush, or like a very small pencil brush to use it on your lower lash line or something like that, it will go quicker. And that goes for kind of all matte shades. And shimmers, if you use your finger, it will take a long time to finish a shade. And maybe that's the way to go for you if you like using your finger and if you want to kind of savor the shade and keep it for a longer period of time. But I really don't want to use my fingers to apply shimmers in most cases. I don't want any hard pan to form, and I like to use brushes. And that's just the way I roll. Sometimes, you know, if it's a topper shade, I can use my finger, but you know, there's a risk for creating hard pan. But because I am using brushes, it takes a lot less time to actually hit pan. And with this one, I only used this one when I did a full blue look, which means I used it on a pretty big area of my eyelids. And so that's why I could hit pan so fast. And that's why it takes a different amount of time to hit pan, even in the shimmers. Even for me, like this one took 4 uses, like I said, because I used it on a bigger area, while this one, Candy Canes, it didn't take 4 times, but it took 8 times, so double the amount. And that's because today I used it on my lower lash line, and you know, it's very soft, so you kind of press the shimmer around a bit as well. But the shade Belle, this one, how many times did I use this one? 7 times, and I don't have the biggest dip. I think, you know, if I really went ham on it, I could hit pan very fast, but I am using pretty little of it because I don't want that full impact. I just want a little bit of a darker shimmer. Today I'm using it on my lower lash line right here on the outer corner. And yeah, it just depends on how you want to use the shades. So anyway, let's move on to the last shade, which is the Snow Wish, which is a dark brown, which I don't really understand the name for it because a dark brown is not my Snow Wish, you know. I have used this one 20 additional times, mostly with an angled brush, as you can see as well. I've used it in my brows, but I have also used it in my crease to start off a look. I've used it in different ways, but I can't really see too much of a difference when I've used a fluffy brush. It just takes forever. If I want to use this only in my crease, if I want to use the mattes only in my crease, it's going to take a long time. So I am trying to be creative and use them in different ways. But I mean, Holly and Greetings, those 2 shades, which I think are my most favorite matte shades in here. I have used both of them in my crease most of the time and a little bit on the lower lash line. And I think the dips I can see, you know, they're mostly from the lower lash line, let's be honest. But I do have a little bit of a dip showing in them. And my goal for this month was to hit 1 pan, which we smashed it out of the park with hitting 3 pans. And then I wanted to have used 3 more shades, up to 10 uses, so that I would get 3 more points for my eyeshadow bank. And also because I didn't want to ignore the matte shades, since they are the hardest to hit pan on. So I didn't just want to focus on the shimmers, even though I wanted to hit pan in a shimmer. So I have done that. Like I said, I used this 20 times, so that counts for 2. I reached 10 uses with Holly. I also went up to 10 uses on Greetings. So that makes for 4 shadows that I've actually used up to the 10 usage mark, let's say. So I definitely hit my goals on this one. I wanted to finish one shade in here, and I wanted to hit pan in this one. And I did all of those things and more. So I am super, super happy. So let's talk about the goals I have for next month. Of course, I would like to hit another pan. I think this is going to be it. And I am trying to do a no pan left behind every month so that I am using all of the shades. Excusing the shades that I've already hit pan on. I don't need to work on those anymore. But I don't want to neglect one shade and have like 1 or 2 shades that I haven't used at all by the end of the year, you know, or, you know, when I only have those to focus on, I haven't used them, so it will be even harder to hit pan on. You know, I just want to use the palette as a whole. So yeah, and no pan left behind except on the pan shades, and one pan in this one. That's my goal for that one. This one, I would like, of course, to hit pan on this one if I can. We'll see. I just want a really big dip in it otherwise. And in Candy Haze, if I can, I would like to use up Gaze, but I'm not sure if I can. But I think, yeah, I'm just going to use it whenever I can and whenever I feel like it. This is not like a priority. Like, I want to use it up this year, but I don't feel like I'm in a hurry because, as you can see, the pan expansions and me using up shades, like, it doesn't take too long. I just need to do it, but I don't want to do it right now, like focusing on it too much because I'm a little bit tired of it and I want to use it whenever I want to, you know, like today. I wanted to use the silver. I did. I actually used all of the 3 shades in here today. And so the only real goal I have is to hit a pan and use this no pan left behind. You know, if I can finish a shade or hit another pan in my pan palette in order, that would be awesome. But my real goal is to just hit more pans. And that's the update for today. I really hope you enjoyed it and that I'll see you in the next one. Have a great evening. Bye.